Hi guys, thanks for doing this, by the way. I'm curious if any of you had a connection to the Fantastic Four before signing on to this film, and if doing a big superhero movie was something you were pursuing.
I didn't really necessarily have a connection. I guess my connection was after I was cast. My dad came to me and said, as a kid growing up, Fantastic Four was his favorite comic. So so that was cool, and yeah, I was really excited to play Reed Richards. I thought he's a very rich, complex character, works a little more from the inside out, and I always think as an actor that's that gives you a lot to work off of.
Is there something appealing about being in like a movie that has such a huge fan base behind it?
Yeah, it's really exciting to be in something that so many fans are incredibly passionate about, and that it's Marvel's first family, so that's it's automatically a special event to be a part of.
And of course, the internet has a lot of opinions when something like this is happening.
Yeah,
they do. I'm sure. Michael, you've talked about it plenty. But I mean, the rest of you guys, do you pay attention to that stuff, or do you have to like tune it out?
You absolutely have to tune it out.
Well, constantly reminded of it, I think.
Really?
Is the other thing. It's hard to ignore. I mean, it's out there, and it's so I think when you go out and make the movie, you have to forget about it. But again, it's difficult. But I think we're both coming from the same place. Everyone wants just a good movie at the end of the day. Everyone wants to go into the theater on a Friday and just have a good time. Mm-hmm. So we hope we did that for them, yeah.
And what about you, Michael? I mean, of course, you've talked about it before, the constant internet chatter. I mean, how do you deal with it at the end of the day?
Just live my life.
That's all you could do, right?
Yeah.
What was appealing about Johnny Storm for you? I mean, was it a character that you had any kind of connection to previously?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I read a lot of comics. Was really big into video games. Miles was too. Just into that world. I was a fan, genuinely. Fantastic Four was definitely one of the comics that I read a lot of, and Johnny was definitely somebody that I pretended to be as a kid. So when you get the opportunity to play, one of your childhood heroes, it's like a no-brainer. Like, I'm all for it.
As actors, is there any difference to the preparation for a movie like this as opposed to, say, a smaller budget indie film?
Well, these are characters that existed long before you were around. They took decided to make a film out of it. So the amount of information out there is extensive, whereas opposed to, if you're doing a movie where there's never been a version of her, you're getting to create it from scratch. That's totally different. I absolutely saw this as a character that I was inheriting, and I knew that I would be kind of contributing to the history of.
And Jamie, for you, I mean, Ben Grimm is a character that is in first half of the film, and then of course he changes into Thing. What is your preparation? How does your preparation change from one version of the character to the other?
Well, there's the physical elements that change because obviously he would carry himself much differently. There's the whole issue of weight and how comfortable he is with moving, and he's still not fully kind of formed in some ways. I think, and parts of the movie he's still kind of like bits of him are kind of falling off. And he's kind of getting used to his new anatomy, so physically it changes, but the approach, for the character essentially stays the same. I think you always have to kind of remember to keep playing the kid that was established in the beginning and not just kind of play, the monster part of him.
And of course, we know you guys are probably preparing for a sequel. Do you know anything about it? Have they told you anything about it? And if not, is there something that you guys would like to see your characters do or participate in?
We won't really know for sure about the sequel until after this movie comes out. It's definitely something we all really want to do. We could only show so much of the story and everything in this film because it's the origin story. So we definitely want to explore more of our characters' relationships. I mean, the Sue and Reed relationship I'd love to see more of and see where we go from where we left it off in this one. Their relationship would be interesting to see in the next film as well.
Yeah, have you guys talked about that already? Like Johnny and the Thing?
It's kind of slowly happening naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spend more time around them.